Although the creators of the Matrix film claims a connection to Baudrillard, he strongly believes that Matrix does not faithfully represent his ideas from the book Simulacra and Simulation. To explain Baudrillard's reason for distancing himself from Matrix, let me share an excerpt from an interview he gave to Le Nouvel Observateur on June 19, 2003, regarding Matrix. In the interview, Baudrillard criticized Matrix for its clear distinction between the real and the virtual. Baudrillard finds it more interesting to explore the moments when these two worlds intersect. According to him, Matrix confuses simulation with illusion. It resembles Plato's Allegory of the cave, where chained men in a cave face a wall and perceive only projected shadows as their reality, mistaking this shadow for an accurate representation of the world. This allegory highlights the difference between the real world and our conditioned perception. Similar duality exists in Christianity, where the earthly realm represents a sad, harsh, and difficult world, while the heavenly realm symbolizes a grander, perfect, and ideal world. In the context of Matrix, Neo finds himself somewhat in Plato's cave, where he witnesses the virtual world, then emerges to experience the true nature of the world.
Welcome to the real world.
Baudrillard argues that Matrix mistakenly conflates simulation with the allegory of the cave, resulting in the film missing the essence of his profound philosophy. Baudrillard acknowledges similarities but suggests that other films like The Truman Show, Minority Report, or Mulholland Drive have explored the blurring boundaries between reality and the virtual realm more effectively. Matrix, on the other hand, fails to evoke the same level of disturbance. The characters in the Matrix are completely detached from the digitized world, residing in Zion, the city of resistance. Baudrillard finds it intriguing to examine what transpires at the intersection of these two worlds. However, the film's primary drawback lies in confusing the novel challenge posed by simulation with the conventional problem of illusion found in Plato's philosophy. This misunderstanding arising from perceiving the world as a radical illusion, a dilemma that great cultures have historically resolved through art and symbolization. What we've created to cope with suffering is a simulated reality, a virtual universe that is gentle, sanitized, and free from danger and negativity.
I know this steak doesn't exist. I know that when I put it in my mouth, the Matrix is telling my brain that it is juicy and delicious. After 9 years, you know what I realize? Ignorance is bliss.
The simulated reality has now taken over the real world as the ultimate solution. Matrix fully embraces this concept, presenting dreams, utopias, and fantasies in a transparent manner. Now let's delve into the heart of Baudrillard's thinking, something truly distinct from anything we have encountered since Plato. Baudrillard has developed the notion of the disappearing referent, the vanishing of the real world. It's similar to the example of the Starbucks coffee and the sign, where initially both exist together. However, gradually the sign begins to replace the referent, until the referent disappears entirely, leaving only the sign. This subtlety is missed by the Matrix films, leading Baudrillard to believe that they have somewhat missed the point. Despite the Matrix crew's admiration for him, he refuses the comparison. What he wants to convey is not the coexistence of two worlds, the virtual and the real, but rather the destructive nature of postmodernity on reality. Soon, only simulation will remain as the real world fades away. Baudrillard's message is that we are not moving toward a world where simulation and the real world exist side by side. Instead, we're heading towards a world dominated by simulation, existing for its own sake. Detached from the need for the real world, the significance of the real world will diminish. Baudrillard explains, today abstraction is no longer about maps, doubles, mirrors, or concepts. Simulation is no longer about a territory, a reference point, or a substance. It is the creation of the reality without origin or actuality, generated by models. This is what we call hyperreality. The territory no longer precedes the map, nor does it outlive it. It's now the map that precedes and creates the territory.
Let me out! Let me out! I want out!
In the movie Matrix, you could enter or exit the Matrix, even explore the real world. But in Baudrillard's more cynical view, the real world is fragmented, abandoned, destroyed by simulation. The boundary between the two is fading away. The map now covers the entire territory, replacing it entirely. Soon we won't have the option to return to the real world. Today we can choose to be in the virtual realm, on the internet, in the metaverse, or in reality. However, we are gradually transitioning to a world where choice becomes obsolete. Simulation will become our way of life.
It's a bubble universe ruled by an asshole god.
He put us in here.
Mm-hmm. Drink your vodka.
How do we get out?
They really drink it. Drink it. You can't leave.
What?
None of us can.
Baudrillard explained that in the past, science fiction and imagined world were far removed from reality. They were filled with fantasies, night and fire-breathing dragons, a completely detachment from reality. Fiction was truly fiction. But since the Industrial Revolution, even fiction has become more aligned with reality. Works like Jules Verne novels, for instance, closely mirror reality. Verne's invention and futuristic vision were based on existing research and known technological advancements. He built his fiction on that foundation. Many consider him a visionary. However, the predictions in his novel were not as extraordinary as they seem. They were predictable in those who had a keen interest in science, like Verne himself. We already foresaw the development of modern submarines and spacecraft based on what we witnessed at the time. Even in fiction, which should be boundlessly imaginative, science fiction turned to mirror reality. We imagine advancement in biology and space exploration, and some concepts from films like 2001's A Space Odyssey could potentially become reality in a century. Baudrillard discusses this to illustrate that even in our literature and thinking, the world is increasingly simulation. Fiction is merging with reality, and our envisioned future is often built upon existing information. It is an extrapolation of current technologies, genetic, cloning, space exploration, and the quest for other worlds. Mentally, we have limited our imagination by merging our ability to simulate with reality. If you seek the passage where Baudrillard discusses science fiction, you will find it in his book Simulacra and Simulation, under the chapter titled Simulacra and Science Fiction.